He's our child now.
Yep.
Fair.
Okay.
They are our kid
I
now.
also keep misgendering them, despite the fact they are my NPC.
Yeah, and they're not even AMAB, right?
That
Yes.
is a complicated question.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah,
referring to
no,
them as
the name sounds masculine, so I keep misgendering them, and I
Yeah.
should.
I've been referring to them as them, as they them all the time in the chat so far. It's just
It
It
just
doesn't
Yeah.
come
yeah.
out, yeah.
brain to fingers filter works better than brain to mouth filter at the moment.
Yeah.
I think it's because Nathaniel is like Daniel, so I keep like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Somebody needs to update the kill counter with the big fuck off statue.
Yes, I will update that now.
Hopefully, soon we can update it again with Walsh.
Need to turn the pace
Hey.
down a little
We
bit.
if when we notice I'm saying when we kill Walsh, can we please just put Tom on the kill sheet?
Oh, Julius
Yes!
is definitely just calling him Tom if to his fucking face one of these days.
Yes, you gotta pull a Harry Potter.
Wait, you
Hi,
guys,
Tom.
Parker was there for this. Remember, PK and Ren, remember when we started having a Granny, Julius, and Alice conversation in the middle of Gatetober?
Oh my god.
The curtains. The fucking
curtains.
curtains.
The fucking curtains.
God, the curtains. The role that was some quality role play.
Came out of nowhere, and then when it was done, it was done.
Yep. They went away. They got tucked back in the pockets.
Spontaneous Enjira character appearance.
Does anyone have anything to add to the recap?
Let's see.
Besides killed big statue, kidnapped child.
We had a battle with the statue.
I would like to change the wording. Statue dead, child adopted.
Yeah.
Also, tunnel collapsed.
What else? Naki got fucking beat by
That was the session before.
No, I know. I'm just setting up for the thing. So we went after the statue, destroyed the statue. Granny got the last hit. Went through the tunnel with Othaniel while Nagi was collapsing the tunnel, as Jamie said. And then we spent a couple hours traveling. We ran for like an hour, and then took a break, and then continued walking on foot and collapsing the tunnel a couple more times, I think, just to make sure. And then we brought Othaniel back to Julius's place. There was something about Othaniel not liking spells being cast on them, but that wasn't necessarily like a big thing.
And Aster hung back a little and saw the messenger leave town.
Aster and Nin both went to go get food.
Aster and Nin.
That's right.
And saw a messenger, seemingly from the temple, fucking booking it out of town.
Cool. Also, are there any objections to what I put for the...
I mean, I think you should have said, Tom's ugly ass statue, but that's fine.
Change it.
Salia. You are sitting in Julius's home. Alone. Expectant. You're not quite sure what you're waiting for?
I would point out that while X has been home alone, everything has been cleaned. The books have been organized alphabetically, and various bits of furniture have been moved precisely 1 inch to the left.
Oh, Julius is gonna be so
I
pissed.
love them.
Julius is gonna be so pissed.
When Ix was home alone, did someone try and kidnap her?
I mean, I doubt it. X would love it if they did.
Yeah. You're not quite sure what you're waiting for. Like, logically, you're waiting for everyone to get back with the kid, but, like, you're not sure what this tension in your chest is waiting for. And you clean as almost sort of this physical distractions, something to make your hands move while waiting. You can't just sit there. um, I am running this description based on like what you've given me for vibes on what Ixalia is like. So if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, correct me.
Oh no. You have nailed it in a slightly uncomfortable kind of way. Carry on, please.
You hear people moving outside. It is a normal day in the city. In fact, it's a little bit louder than normal. The part Julius's house is in isn't usually where a lot of the like the mainline festival like stuff is happening. But even then, the noise of people moving things into city center to get prepared, and the sound of like ships docking and coming in, and the sound of people entering the city through the gate below Glass Park. It's not a level of noise that is unexpected, but it is one that kind of almost feels like clenches you every single time you hear someone shout or a child, screeching in play. Particularly once the school day must be over.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep turning corners waiting to just see maybe Soshu or anyone you used to know looming, but you are alone. And in this time period, I will let you roll another history check
Okay.
to gather more information about the devils, because I know that's something you wanted to do last time and failed miserably.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
am letting you do it again because it has been a couple of hours and Ixalia has had time to at least like hold themselves and to think more about it.
I mean, for all that X technically is wiser than they are smart, which is still hilarious to me. Where are we? History. Shit, 6.
Oh,
You are still a little shaken. And this was not your area of operation.
Yep.
So you don't know, even if you would roll like a natural 20, you wouldn't
Yep.
know the specifics of the way things are set up here, the way things work. There are a couple of vague things you do know, even with that low of a 6, your DC was not very high
Mm-hmm.
for this kind of basic information. Firstly, geographically, the devils have split up the 2 continents into 5 sections, each underneath a general. And underneath them, each general, they have their own series of organization and their own series of how they like to run things. Right?
Yep.
I need to click to my organizational chart. The general you were under would also be the one for this area of the world. Someone you've only heard referred to as Mao Aka, or the Red General, if you want to translate it.
Okay. How do you spell that name?
It is not her real name, it is her title.
Okay.
You do not know her real name. The O has an accent over it, I just don't have the patience to find it right now.
That's fine. So that's that's slightly how they know who X is.
Slightly, yes. That in theory, since this is under the same geographic region, there would be some information able to sort of circulate easily.
Okie doke.
Secondly, Your group, what you did for the devils, your type of person is very much usually sequestered off from the main body. You have your handlers, and you know they report to somebody, but you didn't usually engage much with the more populated mainstream form of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
So you aren't fully aware of how that works to the same level of detail as you were what you used to do. There is one bit of detail, however, that you kind of remember hearing about because it is kind of a major issue among the devils. Mal'aka, whoever she is, used to have her sort of seat of power in Horitari. As of recently, as in recently in the last, let me check my notes. In the last 50 or so years, Mal'aka has had to leave Horitari due to the encroaching presence of the Golden Skulls and abandon that seat of power for somewhere in Palund. This is a sore spot.
Yep.
This is a big sore spot. You do know she left somebody behind in the city that she trusts a lot to sort of try to retake, like boots on the ground wise. This has not been so successful.
Mm-hmm.
The names you've heard getting tossed around, particularly from when you had your conversation with Soshu, this is probably the Nashimura figure that you have heard about.
Okie doke.
You don't know much more than that.
Yep.
If they are third. If they are contracting this hit out to you, they are confident that you will do it.
Shit.
Beyond reasonable doubt. They hardly ever randomly they hardly ever do this. They usually keep this kind of thing in-house. And so either they are so confident in you that they're willing to contract out, or they still consider you in-house.
Okay. Well, that's comforting.
You've never heard of the Soshu guy before, by the way.
LOL.
And the last thing with Mal'aka, after a certain point in the hierarchy, once people start using titles instead of their names, these titles are hereditary. Not in like a parent-to-child way, but in a successor way. The current Mal'aka might not have been the Mal'aka chased from Horitari. And when the current Mal'aka dies or is arrested or leaves or whatever, whoever takes her place will take the name.
And is it always a woman, or is that just a convention of speech?
Traditionally, it is a woman.
Okay.
It is very rare for men in the Devils to receive titles.
Okay, cool.
Hell yeah, reverse sexism.
I I was gonna say love to hear it, but I'm like, that's still sexism, though.
Hell yeah, reverse sexism. I stand by this
Love to
take.
see it.
Standardly, and could only come up with kind of like homophobia.
Oh
These are my girl bosses.
Hell yeah. We love to hear it.
Gaslight, gatekeep,
Girl
girl boss gamers. Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, gay bait.
Yep.
Let's
So, Malaka is now referred to in my notes as girl boss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Woman here is kind of like a malleable term. Usually the only people excluded are the people who solidly 100% identify as men.
Thank you.
Yeah.
inclusive girl bossification. Let's
Hell
go.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, female or femme.
It's like when you're a trans man and the devil's in like, okay, so you're absolutely confident, like this is your okay. You are out of the running for all titles now, but I'm glad you're being yourself and like true and honest with
I'm
who
glad
you
you're
want to
here, but we cannot give you a title.
We support you 100%, but
No more titles.
no more titles.
Diversity win. These organized criminals care about your gender identity for their highly gendered hierarchy system.
Hell yeah.
I'm obsessed.
Listen, sometimes you gotta play with shit and have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
yeah, you
This
do.
is none of this is negative.
This is all incredibly positive.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's what you kind of know about the devils outside of what you had direct contact with.
Okey-doke.
So this is what's all coming to your mind, you're processing. And as the hours pass, nothing changes. And so when the door opens and in walks Julius, like as if like there's no sudden sound outside, there's no alarm, there is nothing. So when the party walks in, trailing with who you presume to be Othaniel, missing Aster and Nin, but it's very quickly explained to you they've gone to go get dinner. It's kind of surprising that they just kind of walk back in peacefully. But there you all are.
Hey, X.
Hello, dearie.
You're all back? How did it go? Is everyone okay?
Surprisingly easy. Apparently now he is connected with, what was the name of the group, guys? The not
Marble
Grinners.
hands.
Now he was connected with the Marble Hands, and they were actually he was actually pretty okay with helping us take Othaniel out.
Young man, I think he got along splendidly with Snowball.
Yeah, and then all we had to do was break the shackles on Othaniel and fight a giant robot. It was pretty chill.
It certainly sounds chill.
Oh wait, I wouldn't know the name for.
Introductions.
Oh, right. Ix, this is Othaniel. Othaniel, this is Ixalia.
Pleasure
Amy,
to meet you.
so Othaniel is sort of standing there. The long hair sort of pinned up in a hasty bun. They have pulled the hood back from their head now that they're inside. Under one arm seems to be tucked like a load of armor. And they have their things in a bag on their back. And they're just kind of looking up and around at the house, and as they are introduced, they look over at you. I remember you being there for their physical description last time.
Okey-doke.
but as a reminder, they are sort of 17-ish. Still haven't gotten rid of the baby face, and in fact kind of look oddly young for someone who is 17.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly someone who seems to be without any elven or like dwarvish or long-lived race like visibly in them. Very androgynous.
Short, right?
Short.
Like Nagi short, or
A little bit taller than Nagi, but not much.
Ow.
that's so upsetting.
Um, they're very pale, with a flurry of sort of like metallic shining sort of freckles across their face, and similarly sort of colored eyes. And they kind of they're standing kind of with their shoulders back, and they just nice to meet you. Sorry.
X is waiting for the moment they look away and then is gesturing to the closest person on the lines of, oh my god, what the fuck, you brought the kid here?
This is just a temporary place for now.
A pit stop, if you will.
Just until it calms down, X, don't worry.
It
We're-
just feels like we have a lot of, shall we say, key figures all in one place.
Yes, well, we can handle it. At least for now.
You can handle it, I can handle it, I could just kill you and run.
You could.
Mm.
Where's the fun
Ophaniel
in
looks
that?
at you like Ophaniel's like head snaps over.
Julie's just gonna raise a hand to
Sorry.
Ophaniel, like, it's okay, like, and
was
just
a
give
joke.
her a slight smile. And just say, I mean, where's the fun in that? And plus, you already told me you weren't going to do that.
No, I told you it was tempting, but I was gonna, okay, fair point. Shut up.
Somewhere else.
Mhm.
Conversation needs to move.
The joking day. Definitely.
It's not too long after this that Aster and Nimmer do arrive with food.
Yeah.
Julius will do the whole spiel of, like, don't go in this one room without saying the passcode again, and then, show Ophaniel where they can put their stuff. So, just in the meantime.
Okay. They sort of follow along and very obediently put their things where you tell them to.
He'd probably do the... probably the attic, I guess. It's a more comfortable place.
They will put their things up there.
Alright. Food? I guess.
That would be good.
And he lets out a sigh and rubs the back of his neck. Like, we can talk about things after we've eaten. Or over dinner, I guess.
You do owe me an explanation.
Yes.
You said you would explain.
I will. I promise
They
you.
nod.
But for now, let's just go eat first. It's not good to explain stuff when you're worrying. Plus, you need to be introduced to everyone else.
They nod.
Okay, and he'll lead the way.
They do leave their weapon upstairs.
Okay.
But they keep a sort of you've noticed now that sort of around one wrist, sort of wrapped on like a small like leather, like fine leather cord, they have put what looks like a probably their holy symbol.
Mm.
It was not on their wrist when you were in the cavern, but they must have like moved it over at some point.
Oh, did they ever give Julius back the bracelet?
Julius has not asked for it back.
Right. I think he'd pause for a second after seeing that and just look back at Othaniel and just be like, "Do you still have that bracelet?"
Oh, yes. Sorry.
That's
Do you want to
alright.
return now?
Yeah.
They sort of shuffle in their cloak for a bit and produce the bracelet and hand it over to you.
He will take it and put it back on. Make sure it's fit nicely and... Thank you. And then keep on going.
They follow very obediently behind you.
Parker.
They
Parker, the
are
child.
they very much are keeping their hands to themselves.
Mm.
The only time they reach out to touch anything is like to make sure that a door stays open long enough for them to walk through.
Mm. Julius is being very patient and making sure that they can keep up easily. He's not going any faster than would be warranted. So, we'll lead them to the kitchen, where I assume everybody is for food and stuff.
Yeah, Aster and Nin are like unpacking food and like placing it out on the table.
Yeah. Asta has relayed that we saw a messenger run off from the temple to go tell Walsh. Or at least that's his assumption. Particularly considering the full pelt speed.
Yeah. I guess we don't have a lot of time then. We should probably make plans soon.
What direction did you say they were leaving?
So they, I'll answer this because just to clarify.
Appreciate it.
So there are 4 gates in and out of the city. One through the eastern side of the city, through the Copper Road on the other side of the Twilight District. One through the Smokeway, which is straight north. One through the Western Hills, that's like a northwest, and then one to the southwest through Glass Park. Or by Glass Park. It technically cuts through the Western Hills, but like, who cares? It's pretty much the Glass Park entrance. The rider was heading down through the Glass Park entrance, so theoretically south along the coastline. Where specifically, you don't know.
And are there a lot of branching roads on that one?
Yes.
Damn.
It is one of the main roads that sort of travels along the coastline of the southern coastline of Shalas. It's a major travel route, particularly between ports. And as a result, also have like the road itself does not split in a lot of places, but it'll hit like small port towns, and then it will split to go inland. It'll hit another port town and split to go inland.
Okay. Alright.
If that makes any sense at all.
No, that
it
does.
Makes sense.
It does. It makes sense.
That
My
is
brain
the
just
information
soup.
that we needed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brain soup, but also makes a plan not so favorable.
This food that's set out, Othaniel kind of like, I assume there's like, like eating trays, like little eating like plates or whatever set out, and they sort of walk up to the table, and then they kind of hesitate.
You are welcome to. I got enough for everyone to share.
And feel free to sit anywhere you like. There's no seating arrangements here.
They nod, and they pick up a plate, and you realize the hesitation a second later is like, because it's a lot of street food that y'all bought, and they're kind of like,
How do I eat this? What is this?
how do I?
We just got McDonald's for like a kid who grew up eating like exclusively
Yeah.
Homemade
like
vegan
private chef
dishes or something.
vegan dishes. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, there is no eating utensils. Am I supposed to use my hand? Like, that seems to be what's going, like, the calculation in their head. Of, like, how do...
Alex just starts eating.
What everything is.
I don't know what was grabbed, but Julius can do a very rundown explanation.
They're listening, but, even after you finish the explanation, they're kind of keeping Alex in their eye, like their eye line, almost as if they're like using him as like a
Yeah.
guide.
Alex is doing this on purpose.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they're like mimic the cowman. Mimic the cowman.
He knows what to do.
This is a guy who knows how all this works.
Alex has eaten way worse things with just his hands.
God bless. Everyone loves Cowman.
Yeah.
As a result, they kind of end up with a plate that's pretty much exactly the same as Alex's.
And Alex does not eat meat, so
Nathaniel has become vegetarian.
Signed vegetarian by Cowman.
oh, that's really good.
It's my sibling, you guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
They do. I remember somebody did buy them like fresh strawberries.
Yes.
And they kind of like when they get to that part, because in like the table lineup, they very much do like strawberry.
baby.
I enjoyed the stuff with me.
Baby.
But they are very careful. Like it seems like the amount that they've taken is like calculated.
Yeah.
And
They've had very strictly controlled portions.
Yeah, Alex, you're a big cow man. You eat a lot. Othaniel like has a plate that is made up of the same stuff as you, but much smaller portions.
Yeah. Alex is a hungry man. He is large.
Sometimes it's important to know your limits, but also sad.
You're not like under eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be clear.
It is good to know your limits, which is good.
Alex is just almost 8 feet tall.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Like a third of the food we bought is just for Alex.
Yeah, basically.
We know.
He's too big.
He's big man.
Oh, I love it.
They do pass over the sweet rolls, though. They do not take them.
Oh, that's okay.
Master is very clear that they bought enough for everybody in case Nathaniel did want one, but they are welcome to take or leave it if they would like.
Daniel just, no thank you. I appreciate it, but no thank you. And then comes the sitting anywhere.
Yeah.
Because you're like, sit anywhere, and they're like, okay, and then they like finish putting food on, and then they turn around, and then it's like they freeze.
Julius will take a seat and then like pat the one next to him, like realizing that they don't know where to sit. He'll do the like lunchroom thing that they do in to the new person, like they don't know where to sit. Let's have them over here. Like
they very much take you up on that offer.
Yeah, no. Nagi is mostly just picking at her food.
And they clearly are like mimicking Alex of like how to eat this.
Good.
Bless.
Excellent.
Very good.
That's so cute.
There's
That's
a moment
their
where they bite into something that they weren't expecting like a texture from, and you can almost see it on their faces. They're like, and then they kind of like school their expression back down.
Oh.
Oh,
I can't believe
Parker.
we've all adopted this child.
Parker the child.
Asta is kind of gonna if the texture or taste for that one is bad, you probably don't want to try these ones. They've got a very similar.
It's not bad. I just wasn't expecting it.
Fair enough. Ah,
Anyone whose insight is above like, hold on, I need to pull up their sheet.
Nins.
Where is their sheet? There it is. Anyone whose like passive insight is over like a 13, can tell that is not the truth. They don't like it, but they're gonna eat it anyway.
Oh, bless.
Oh no. Alex knows this for sure.
Oh.
He's like,
Yeah.
oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vegetable.
If Snowball were alive, Granny would send Snowball to steal it.
Guys, we have to sponsor the Make Snowball Alive Again Foundation.
I think I have another set of
yes.
I have one more set of ingredients for Snowball. No, I have 3 more set of ingredients for Snowball.
Okay,
If
we're
you'd
good.
asked, yeah, I mean, I feel like Nin and Aster would have picked it up if they did.
Granny has ingredients. So actually, Granny will eat quick and then say, "Well, I'm off to find my cat. I'll just be over in the other room."
Alright. Don't mess with the drapes, though, please.
Why would I mess with the drapes to find my cat, dearie? It's only when she gets here that the drapes will be messed with. Don't you worry.
I don't want them messed with at all. Irene, please.
Listen, it's an inevitability with cats.
The drapes have probably already been messed with by it anyway.
My dear, I promise I'll take care of any marks she leaves. But I really can't control her, you know. I've got no say in her behavior whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
She's a cat, dear.
Mm-hmm.
Not really a cat.
She is.
No, she's a cat.
cat-shaped.
He's a good cat.
Thank you, Margie. Thank you, Alex.
She's
Nina
too
and Julius, I really
intelligent.
don't know what's gotten into the both of you.
Cats are smart. Don't be mean to cats.
Exactly, dear.
Some of them are smart.
Anyway, and when she goes to the other room, I like to think that everybody can fully hear the distant, like, Snowball, you know,
Oh.
her little routine of shaking the treats and calling out for her.
Oh my god.
Granny,
Are you casting it as a ritual or?
It only is castable as a ritual.
Okay, fair enough.
It's an hour no matter what you do.
L.
Huge.
We'll take the hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right, fair. Yeah. Granny is off summoning Snowball.
We do owe her final explanations.
Yep. Ouch. I don't know.
Daniel is kind of looking amongst the party, kind of like, okay, so who's gonna give it to me? Like,
Is there somewhere you want us to start? Is there things you want us to cover?
wherever you think it's best to start.
Well, I could. I'm trying to think if it would be good to start at the very beginning or just run down what's going on right now as far as we know.
I would
right
think
now.
start at the beginning.
Alright, you want
We
right
need
now?
we need some of the background as to why we're here.
Yes.
Right, then that's fine.
So
So,
you can like ask any questions. Just want to ask them. I think we can do that.
I think I'd rather you start.
alright. Oh god, my brain is not working. I would like to start with like the whole sorry, this is out of character. Give me a moment.
Okay. You don't even have to fully RP it out. You could just tell me what you tell them.
Okay. Julius probably would mention the fact that he had his own about a week ago at this point. No, longer than that. It was like a month ago at this point, right? Since we were last at. So a month ago mentioned that he had gotten some sort of prophetic dream sort of situation about the temple and that it didn't seem right. And that he gathered these people with him because they were already working together at the time. And that he trusted them enough to come with and help, since it seemed like a not so good situation that he had been shown. What would be the next step, you guys? Because I can't.
We can't really tell them that we plan on doing bad things to their father.
No,
No, we're not.
That's not something I would bring up, like at all. I think maybe,
Probably some sort of emphasis that Walsh is behind some shady dealings, and we're here to kind of stop those dealings and help the townspeople.
I
Emphasis
think
that the dealings are shady, not so much him to start with.
mostly like talk about how he, considering past transgressions, like with Julius, he wouldn't talk in detail about his imprisonment, but the fact that he had been taken away by people Walsh knew, and that these people worked under a criminal organization.
Would he bring up that Walsh was using that as a point of blackmail?
Not right now. Not with all of you in the
Okay.
same room.
I just wanted to.
Yeah, that would be too much, he thinks.
Daniel listens to this. They're very quiet. They don't like interject. They like do enough like of the like nod, like as you say, like that they're listening, but they're very just sort of taking it in, if that makes sense.
Can I insight check them to see what kind of vibes I'm getting off of them as they hear all this?
Roll an insight.
Not very 29. Not very high, 29. I'm kidding. That was almost a nat 20.
Yeah.
God.
So how to describe this? Because you definitely get vibes. So first things first is they are listening, and they are listening very intently. So there's that. There is, however, first things first. Second things second. They are generally kind of a little unsure, a little uncomfortable, a little drawn into themselves in that very like, I'm not exactly sure what is going on and why.
Yeah.
Um, which I think is fair. Um,
Yeah.
and the vibe that you are taking is that they are sort of taking this in and almost comparing it to something in their head.
Like what they know of Walsh, right?
Yeah. Like they are trying to compare, contrast. They aren't believing you, but they're also not disbelieving you.
Yeah.
They're very much just trying to evaluate. And this evaluation becomes very clear as you kind of end the bit about like, Walsh, people who took me knew Walsh, they kind of I was told you left with your father.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at you. That was no. And Julius, the laughter was not directed at Othaniel. He just kind of looks at his hands a little bit before looking back at Othaniel and just says, "I just learned about my father's name a day ago. I've never met him." In fact, I don't know if I'll even have a day where I will. I was taken away at 7 and spent 3 years imprisoned. And then when I got out, I didn't know at the time, but apparently you had been born.
They nod. That that would track the timeline. Sorry, that would track with the timeline you have presented.
And after that, I found a place here in the city, and all that. That can be explained at another time. It's not important right now. Crap. No, there's that. And then what else is there to explain?
That Walsh has been making major moves and working hard to quickly change the face of what's the name of the
He's-
goddess?
Lede.
Lede.
Julius would mention that there had been steps to kind of northernize the southern part here, taking away the beautification of the to get the wall canvas thing that had been like a collaborative artwork piece basically for the people. The fact that that had kind of been stripped away from the people, the fact that paintings that had been important at one point to the temple had been removed and replaced. Certain worship things are not not in general saying that anything that has been done is terrible, but it is very much like this was not necessarily the way that people had worshipped in the temple before and what was normal.
The possible
No, go for it.
the possible point that that the artistic expression had been very collaborative and communicative. However, now it seems to be more highly lauded individuals are the ones who are seen rather than it being a communal uplifting.
They nod, and Nagi, I'm going to let the insight roll. There is nothing that is shocking to them about this. You're not surprising them with this information.
Yeah, because they
And-
had mentioned that in the cave, I think, too.
Yeah, they just kind of nod and they're like, well, of course. That is Mr. Walsh's divine providence. It is his destiny.
A destiny that he gave himself. It wasn't given to him by Lede. It's just...
Her head kind of tilts at this, and they look at you and they go, I don't mean this any offense. Nagi, I think, right?
Yeah.
They kind of look you up and down. I'm sure you are a good woman and a good person, and you mean well. But unless I'm mistaken, you don't have the personal connection to Lede that I, Mr. Walsh, or Miss Satoshi have.
I don't, but Julius does, and he remembers what worshipping Lede used to be like. He
Look,
remembers how others worshipped her and how the temple carried out her teachings.
let Nathaniel.
They
So
look at
the
you.
way that Walsh and this works, what he believes in is not wrong,
They nod.
but it is also not perfect either. Claiming a divine providence over all of Lede's and he kind of like makes a general motion, as in like all of this, is sort of blasphemous in a way.
They look
I-
almost like there's this look where they look a little offended.
I understand that it's hard to hear that, but there is a good to mixing and coexisting. There we
Habitating.
go. Yes, thank you. My brain was not letting me do that. Letting the two factors of Lede herself intermingle.
There's
But
only one true face of Lede.
that was something I thought once too.
It is what I've been taught and what I have worshipped.
If you
There is
don't
only
mind
one
me
true
asking, if you don't
Can
mind me
I
asking,
offer a
Nathaniel,
Go ahead.
if you don't mind me asking, Nathaniel, who precisely taught you that?
Mr. Walsh and my other tutors and Miss Satoshi.
And who appointed your other tutors apart from Miss Satoshi?
Mr. Walsh, of course.
And you don't think that he might have appointed people who agreed with his point of view?
Of course he did.
I trust you
because he's
heard. And you don't think that he might be somewhat... We all have our biases in life, right?
they
So,
nod.
how do you know that he wasn't projecting his biases onto you via your tutors?
Because he's right.
Prove it.
No. That's not something that needs to happen. Not.
An outsider perspective from someone who works with Aster kind of tugs at his medallion just to show that it's there. I also work as a cleric of a god. And can I offer an outside perspective?
there's a pause, and they seem to kind of be thinking about something. And Nagi, I'll let this ride. When they speak next, it sounds like they are saying something not of their own words, sort of rote, almost.
Yeah,
They're parroting.
something
Um,
they've been taught over and over again.
They say, "Of course, outside advice is appreciated, but know where your expertise ends and mine begins."
Ix is up and looking out the window at this point because Ix is irked.
Yeah,
Nagi-
Asta keeps a very smooth face. Asta is like, "Yep."
Nagi, you can see that even as they say this rote thing, there is something in them that's like still so tense and anxious.
Yeah.
Would point out as well that Ix is being very clear and obvious with their body language at this point, and they're doing it deliberately.
I walk with the shepherd. I'm going to be, and at least from what I have seen, pauses like he's trying to figure it out. What? What I have seen, and take this with as many grains of salt as you need to, is that gods have as many interpretations as there are worshippers, and all of them are true in a way. None of them. He kind of pauses and gestures a little bit, like he's trying to figure out how to specifically word this.
I myself.
They all.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No,
Okay.
you can probably.
I myself, I was taught, at least under Inoue Satoshi. High Priest. Sorry, I was gonna put High Priestess there. That's me Ren fault. High Priestess. There. I was taught as a young age. At a young age, we had people from the north come before to the temple. It is a place many migrate to. But I learned that there was different ways that people worshipped, and it is not wrong. To say that is to deny a part of oneself. To deny a part of the day that exists. And I haven't been actively in her temple for a very long time, but that is one thing I will hold true until the day I die. And you are open to criticize that, but to say that there is only one is to deny a population in the city and elsewhere that worships differently than you. And that is, and he kind of gestures around a little bit. The beauty of Glass Park here wouldn't exist without it. The paint on certain easels and the way it looks in the light is... it wouldn't exist without that spark. I know you don't necessarily trust us, and it's hard to hear these sort of things.
think it is you that does not want to hear the truth. If that many people hold to the old ways, then that many people are heretics. And they stand. If this is the only thing we're going to talk about, I think I've heard enough. And, Nagi, they, you can tell that they are, like, fucking, like, desperately trying not to physically shake.
Yeah, because this is all a bunch of like dissonant with everything they've been taught their whole life, and yeah.
They also seem kind of uncomfortable with having to be, like, this confrontational about it. Like, they don't want
Yeah. Like they've never had to defend their beliefs before.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you'd be comfortable with taking them up to your studio, at least for a little bit? Let them soothe a little bit distant from,
Julius
or at
just
least leading them
nods.
up to the studio?
They
There's
Julius will look
magic.
at them. Does it look like they're gonna get pissed at Julius if he follows them?
They have not left the room.
Okay.
They have just, like, stood and, like, rearranged their robes.
I mean, I know I'm just the one with knives here, but there's magic there not to prove that we're telling the truth. I mean, I know it's just the truth from our point of view, but I don't like seeing people manipulated like this. It's not fair to him.
We can have a discussion like this when it's wanted.
Does Ixalia say him in canon, or was that you slipping again?
That's me slipping.
Okay.
This is a conversation we can have when it is warranted and wanted, I suppose.
Also, I'd like to ask that we talk about what happens next, and I want to include you in that conversation.
Make a persuasion check.
You do not roll like bulls, Asta.
Come on, Aster.
I gotta go, guys.
Goodbye,
Have
PK.
fun.
Love
No, as soon as
you.
Snowball's back, Granny will send her to be emotional support cat. But yeah, I'll go. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Please.
You can just roll physical dice if you really want to.
Just I'm having a bit of crunch with Roll20 right now. 15 on the dice, which I believe +3, because I don't think he has a persuasion mod.
They look at you, and then they look at Julius again, and then over at X, and nod, and they go, "We can talk about next steps. That's fine."
We're sorry if that was uncomfortable for you if we pushed some buttons.
Yeah.
It's fine. They look like as if they're about to, like, say something else, and then don't. And they sit back down.
That if we cross a line, tell us, okay? Because we can't act better if we don't know what's wrong, okay? So if we aren't listening, you are welcome to yell at us, okay? Or at least tell us off.
Take that into consideration.
That Alistair kind of holds his hands up and nods. Right.
We kind of stopped in the middle of that conversation before, but not the one that was triggering. I'm trying to think now where we were off. I can't remember now.
You're gonna talk about what's next.
Yeah.
What's the group's next steps?
Well, that, but we had something else to say and I can't remember now. Whatever, it's fine. Because we didn't even decide this yet.
If... Okay. Nathaniel, I'm going to ask you one more question.
You nod.
Do you, as Nathaniel, disregarding the Destiny stuff as much as possible, do you want to try to recover the tapestry?
I thought we agreed Nagi was going to suggest that because that was when we came up with the tapestry plan.
I have a memory like a sieve, and
I didn't hear specifics, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the tapestry.
yeah. But that's what Aster is specifically asking is that something they want to do, not have been told that they should do? Just for clarifying what Aster is specifically asking.
We can always back up.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
we can back up.
It's already been said. It's fine.
It's okay.
So they sort of, you pose this question to them and they look at you.
Humor me? Awkward little smile.
Like to, but I don't think your question is possible.
Fair enough. I will accept that rebuke.
Yeah, they flinch a little bit when you say that.
No, my word. That is my wording bad?
Destiny.
I will accept. Yeah.
My destiny is inherently part of who I am.
Okay.
And I am meant to retrieve this. So that is what I will do.
Well, that's not necessarily something we can do right now without a destination in mind, so we will put that on the back burner for now.
Yep.
So, we have a couple of days, maybe less now, until Walsh is back. And we need to figure out what we're going to do with that time.
I would point out as well that there is the other issue looming over us as well.
Yeah. And I'm not going to discuss that with our guest in the room right now.
I wasn't suggesting we should, just reminding you about the fact that Several of us have our necks on the line here. And I really would prefer to avoid collateral damage if things go wrong.
Yeah. Look, worst comes to worst, I'll be the one sinking. He is going to say that very lowly. Can I try and do a stealth thing for that to try and make it so that only Ix can hear? I don't... Or...
Roll a stealth, but at disadvantage.
Yeah, I can't... well, let's hope Julius doesn't roll his natural 2s. Stealth disadvantage, let's see. Oh, that was pretty high, actually. A 16.
Roll perception for them.
Please roll low. Please, I'm begging the gods.
You
I'd
say
say-
it quietly.
I'd say as Julius says this, Ix is keeping an eye on Nathaniel out of the corner of their eye to see if he seems to have heard.
And make an insight check.
Sorry, yeah. Brain is just 21.
Mm-hmm.
They don't overly react. It is not like they turn to you and are going to call you out. But the way that there is a sort of twitch at the corner of their eye tells you they heard.
Okay. At which point Ix is going to pitch the reply low, but just loud enough to be heard where Nathaniel is standing. And it's going to be like, hell, I'm letting you sink alone. Ass.
Julius just gives a huff.
So you all said this was a pit stop.
For now, yes. We would ideally like to keep you out of the city, at least until the festival has begun.
Nagi and Ixalia, all your insight roll, they do not seem happy with that idea.
Yeah.
They're not going to say anything. They don't seem happy with that.
Along the lines of, they don't want to miss the festival.
Yeah.
No, it's not even they don't want to miss the festival. It's they don't want to leave the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've never left the city before, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's fair enough.
Julius would like to explain as to why, though. I only mentioned it briefly before. The incident with my taking from the temple. Because of that, for a very long time, you thinking that I had been willingly, or that I had willingly left with my father. My mothers were under the impression that I had been taken hostage, and were there for far longer. And does it look like if I continue this line of wording, Nathaniel is going to get very upset very quickly?
Make an insight check.
Okay. Oh, come on. Why is the thing like this? It's... Oh, there we
You
go.
can roll a physical dice if you would like.
It's alright. Maybe I will, just because I have the Julius dice, and I'm gonna...
Roll 20's done a bunch of upgrades and they're all terrible.
Yeah, I tried opening the sheet, and it was just so tiny I couldn't get the corner of it, and I have a headache, so I was like, are you kidding me? I'm gonna murder. Let's use the Julius dice. Where are they? Come on, buddy. Ooh. There wasn't any any disadvantage or advantage, right?
Nope.
Okay. Insight, right?
Yep.
That's just a 15.
You can't read them.
Of course not.
They rolled a natural 17, I'm sorry. One thing I will say is they do seem expectant for you to continue to speak.
Okay. Now I'm trying to remember where I left off in that conversation. Hold on one moment.
They were told that Julius was held hostage for longer than.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Julius will continue with. My mother's had been under the impression that I was held hostage the longer I was in there, and Walsh used that to his advantage. Preferably specifically my safety. And the fact that he seemed to still have me under his wing.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. Ooh. What is Julius's persuasion? Oh, my persuasion is good. That's a 23.
Ooh, nice.
15 plus 8.
They kind of pause for a second, and then they just go, even if that is true, I don't see why it affects whether or not I stay in the city.
Because you were also under the same thing. I talked to Inoue about it earlier. You are the same chip. As much as you are Walsh's child. And he cares about you. That doesn't mean parents can't use their children.
Persuasion check at disadvantage.
Yeah, I figured. Does not like to hear that. That's a hard pill to swallow. Oh god. Now I'm fucking sweating.
Yeah, particularly all at once.
Okay, that's not too bad. Come on, just stay in the high numbers. Come on. Oh, that was so close to not being high. Okay. That's a 13. That's a
You
21.
miss. Julius is currently trying to convince Othaniel of the hostage situation regarding Walsh using Julius and Othaniel's lives both against Inline. And has rolled incredible persuasion checks.
I rolled a 15 the last time, and this one was like a 13, I think. Thank God I have
With disadvantage.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about with disadvantage. This thing didn't roll lower than like a 13, so.
Nice.
Not that delighted. Sorry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. God bless these Julius dice.
They seem to listen to this. I am not granting to you that's true. There's a little shake in their voice as they say that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, even if it is, logically, if I am physically out of his reach, there is no such threat. At least that's the way I see it. Sorry.
You're alright.
Sorry. and they sort of, there's this moment where they stutter, and they like physically one hand kind of over their mouth for a second.
Julius is just going to place a very gentle hand, like, what would be a non-obtrusive place? I'm trying to think. Probably like the top of the arm, so it can be brushed off, like by the shoulder, and just like on the actual arm, so it can be easily brushed off, but like not in a way that would hold them in place or seem, that sort of situation.
They take a deep breath in through their nose, and then as they lower their hand, they don't shake you off, but as they lower their hand, it is shaking, and they kind of try to hide it in.
Do you need to take a break?
I am fine.
Okay.
I would prefer to stay in the city. Either that, or if I leave, I am going to find the tapestry as meant to be. Otherwise, I'm not leaving. Sorry.
It's alright.
Thank you for telling us.
You're allowed to express your opinion, kid. We don't mind that.
I'm glad you're talking it out, at least. You deserve to speak freely. I'm trying to think. Okay, I was trying to remember where Othaniel left off for a moment.
They basically have made the ultimatum: either I am staying in the city, or I'm leaving for the tapestry. Those are the two options.
Yep, I know. I'm talking about the Walsh thing.
I mean, it makes our decision simultaneously easier and harder.
What was the thing that it was before the So I'm trying to connect the things that were said before, and now my brain is not letting me.
Walsh is attempting to use their life as like holding over Inway. Othaniel was like, even if that's true, if I'm not there, that danger doesn't matter.
Right, exactly. That's where I was trying to find that one part. The reason we wanted you a little farther away is mostly because there are other circumstances with us that being very close to certain places is a little harder for us, I guess. How do we explain that? Having you at least out of reach of him, and in the hands of people that can, at the very least, be trusted to keep you safe, and not use you against Inoue, or Veta, or me. And that safest place that we decided was with us.
He nod.
I know it's an unconventional thing, and quite scary. But in all honesty, it's all quite messed up and... I'm trying to figure out also what the day has put in front of me, and it's... Somehow these people wanted to come with.
They glance around the rest of the group. Just not like in a suspicious way, just to kind of like, you know, take in everybody again.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are a weird group.
Mm-hmm.
We are.
Understandable.
They still don't seem to know what to do with the cow.
Good. Good.
Listen, he's a good cow.
He's a
He's a good cow.
A good cow.
We love that.
Yeah, they have read him as a very kind, like a good kind person, but they're also like, that's a cow.
That's a cow.
That
And it's
is a
person
cow.
shaped. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a cow.
Now that's what I call cow.
Cowman. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that needs to be detailed here. At least with you as a guest. There's certain things, I apologize, that I don't necessarily want you to hear. And it's mainly because it's scary for me to talk about. So, and it only really has to do with me. And I can be put under a zone of truth for that. If that would make you feel at ease and make sure that I'm not lying to you. He is saying this to Nathaniel.
We can do away with Zone of Truth for now.
Alright. How is Nathaniel holding up?
Anyone who wants to know, please make me another insight.
Okay. I don't
Yeah.
Okay. Come on, roll well. Oh, that's
Oh, damn,
not
I rolled
very
low.
good. What is that? 9 plus... Oh, shit, I just closed a sheet. Where it is? Where is it? 9. Yeah, that's just a 10 for Julius. Jesus Christ.
Julius, you don't really know. You
Great.
can't read them very well at all.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else. Nagi and Ix, you get that they have taken in a lot of information, done a lot of confrontation, which they didn't seem well rehearsed in. And there was that moment with the stutter that had seemed to throw them completely off their game. They're not doing too great. Aster. Oh. We lost.
Who'd we lose?
Ran, I think.
Huh?
No,
I'm
we
here.
still have Ren.
Oh no, we still have a Ran, sorry.
We lost Sarah.
Sarah.
Oh.
Aster. Okay, everyone can get that Ophaniel would like to leave the room now.
Yeah.
Aster, however, you're the one who gets, I want to leave the room, I want to go be by myself.
Okay.
I do not know if I'm allowed to.
Oh, we need to kill Walsh so dead.
Mm-hmm.
Aster's kind of gonna. Can we table this for maybe an hour? I kind of need to. He rubs the heel of his hand against his forehead, and it's kind of and grimaces a little bit, and I need a chance to relax after the really big statue and the running down the tunnel. Can we table this for maybe an hour, hour and a half?
I don't see any problem with that. In fact,
You're good, Sarah. We were just like, Sarah!
where's Sarah
Sarah?
gone? Is Sarah
Yeah, my
back?
computer's being.
Oh,
It's
that's
being.
not good. It's being. Oh. That's rough, buddy.
When you suggest a break, Othaniel, like, nods.
You're more than free to go and... You know what, I'll just show you. Again. I'll get the bedding ready too. Julius will stand and gesture for Othaniel to follow.
Okay,
Asta's kind of gonna gently nudge Julius and just... I think just very quietly, I think we could all use a bit of space to process. Possibly alone.
He nods.
I know the possibly alone part is the part that...
Mm-hmm.
Like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge at
Yep.
Othaniel.
Yeah. No, that he
Yeah.
understands.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but Asta needed to convey what he picked up.
Yep.
So, where in the house are you setting Othaniel up to be able to, like, sleep?
Julius was thinking the gallery itself, but at the same time, it is not a bed. Also, there was a dead bird in there once, so maybe not.
We're getting in the studio very aggressively.
Yeah.
Good night, Amy.
Night, folks.
Good night.
Bye, Amy.
See you later.
Good night.
So, either one of the bedrooms, like maybe not Julius's room, it was kind of dark in there, I don't know how they would deal with that. Well, not dark, it's technically lit up like crazy, because this whole house is that way. Maybe the spare room, it would smell a little less like... Well, no. Julius will set up his room. Why not? It's got the more comfortable bed.
Othaniel does, like, as you are setting up, just like, I do need some of my personal items.
Alright, I can go grab them for you, unless you'd like to do so.
To you.
What did they say?
Up to you.
Julius will go get them. He'll just kind of give a slight smile and just say, make yourself comfortable, if you'd like. I'll go get you things.
Nod. And when you get back, they are sitting kind of very stiffly on the edge of the bed.
I figured.
Hands sort of tucked underneath their robes, so you cannot see them.
Alright. Julius is like hefting this stuff, and he's like, very good-naturedly like, you sure do carry some heavy things. Must have some strong arms. Just kind of gently set everything down. He's not being careless with it. And he's setting it close to Othaniel, so it is very obvious, like, not without reach. Or, it is within reach. Alright, well, if you need anything, I will be... And he points the other direction. At the gallery. Or, technically, my studio. Taking a resting there these days.
They nod.
Alright, I'll leave you be. And he'll kind of, as he's walking out, just say, maybe, like, calling out, like, if you need to turn on or off this lamp, this is what you, and, like, just mild little bit like that, and then we'll, close the door behind him to leave them to themselves. And then as he's out of the doorway, just head in hands. And then fucking trudge down the stairs.
Oh, Aster baby!
I knew it was coming! I knew it was coming!
Uh-oh.
The moment you start to relax as Othaniel leaves, it hits you like a fucking train.
Yeah.
Everyone else in the room, like, you don't even need a high. You don't need to.
Even Nin can pick it up.
Even Nin can pick up that Aster, like, all of a sudden kind of, like, pales a little bit and is just kind of, like, one hand sort of goes to, like, hold sort of the chest a little bit and just kind of the bent over and, like, okay.
Has Julius come down yet?
Yeah.
He's gonna, like, start at that a little bit and be like, what the Aster? And kind of go over to his side. Hey.
I've been using too much magic.
That's usually not a side effect that happens to people. What the hell, man? I think maybe you really need to sit down. Or lay down, I mean. Rest.
Do you want some or something?
What was that Nin offered?
Juice.
Juice.
I think he nods a little bit, and just trying to stave it off for a couple of days. I knew it was coming.
Hey Julius, do you have any juice?
I have fruit and I have a juicer.
Fantasy juicer.
It's just one of the handheld ones.
So Nin can get around to making juice. You've made drinks out of, like,
Out of
plants
things you
before.
probably shouldn't make drinks out of, yes.
Julius has canonically a drink bar. He must have something with a juicer.
Yeah.
Julius can make squeezed juice. It's fine. It's not gonna be super sweet, but it's gonna work.
He makes his own fresh squeezed orange juice
He
every
does!
morning.
He is the best at breakfasts. It is canon.
So as that's happening, what's the conversation? What's action going on?
Nagi had left the room when Othaniel did.
Sorry, I had not caught that.
No, I just hadn't gotten a chance to speak yet.
Okay. So Nagi heads out. Where you going, Nagi?
I don't know, just she's gonna go reflect on things, because even though she got a hug from the ocean, she's still not feeling great about everything that's gone down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Hug from the ocean.
Yeah.
So that leaves Julius. I'm gonna say Ix also kind of like pieced off to like go like work out some emotions. So Alex, Julius, Aster, and Nin are still in the kitchen.
Julius is gonna put the fresh squeezed orange juice on the table for Aster.
Yeah,
He's also
Aster will
strained
take
it,
it.
by the way, so there is no pulp. He has a strainer. He's not a heathen.
I'm sorry, is this pulp erasure?
Yes.
Yeah, is this a Julius does not?
Julius doesn't like the texture.
I mean, fair, but he's also wrong.
No. Anyways, moving on. He just like flops in the chair a little bit. He looks tired emotionally.
Papa, we haven't really had a chance to establish this. Is this does heat or pressure help with it at all, or does it just
Heat helps.
okay? Just don't know if Aster's gonna ask. No, he will. That's something I could use as a heat compress.
Might have something. You can go grab one if you need it. Parker, do I have a heat compress in the house?
I'm sure you're a motherfucker.
I'm a motherfucker, yes.
If you've got a bag of rice, you've got a heat compress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's also easy to whip up. So does any conversation happen, or do you all just sit there in the, oh my god, what have we gotten ourselves into?
Well,
I mean, we were gonna talk about the situation of Julius and the devils, I think, at this point, but Ix is not here, so we should probably have that conversation when Amy is here.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the
Do we
conversation
wanna-
we have.
We could call session here.
I mean, that's...
Well, I got. Can I do an Alex thing first? I don't have.
Absolutely.
Please, God,
Yes.
him.
Yes, you can absolutely
Yes.
do an Alex
Yes,
thing first.
okay. Him. Okay, so we missed enough context for whatever's going on with Aster that there's probably something Alex would have actually said there. We missed the context, so we couldn't say anything. So, but Alex would have been.
It's very clear to Alex that Aster is dealing with some sort of like chronic pain flare.
Okay. Alex will be a dad about it for a little bit, and then go off.
Alex probably gets the heat compress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex gets
is a,
the heat compress. Julius gets
Alex-
the juice.
Yep. And Alex is a dad about it, and you know the drill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad cat.
And then goes to find some place by himself that is not near, like, as much as he can, not super near where anyone else is, and also not a place he is likely to be just walked in on randomly.
There's like
There's the guest bedroom and then the...
there's the garret. Yeah, the guest bedroom is what pops to mind.
Okay. So Alex sits down, sort of.
It's a very sparsely populated room, almost like decorated room, almost like this is the guest room.
Yeah, he's gonna sit on the floor.
Yeah.
And I actually don't have his sheet open. Oh no. He does not keep his holy symbol visible on his person, but he does have one. And so takes that out and kind of holds it. And here's the thing. He's been like walked through the whole God thing, and like, here's what you do when you're looking for this, here's what you do when you're looking for that, but he's A, by himself, and B, doesn't know what he's asking for. So he's just kind of sitting there, just thinking. I think just to kind of get the sort of cleric magic connection thing going, he will
Yeah.
just cast light on the holy symbol,
Mm-hmm.
and he has no idea what he's doing, but he's trying.
So one thing you remember specifically when you were first brought into this sort of faith that you don't know much about was very much there's a meditative element to the standard way of reaching out to Chilavi. I don't know if Alex is capable of like head empty, no thoughts meditation.
Not currently. In the ideal state, Alex probably could, but now is not the time.
So you sit there trying to chase that sort of place that Martha and her people like told you about. But you can't quite get there. Your mind is cluttered.
He's always been bad at this.
She's always been bad at this, and you know it, but you are trying so hard. And you are just reaching out looking. And after a minute or two, just when you're starting to get a little, like, frustrated with yourself, the door to the room slides open. There is no one on the other side.
Odd. Alex does not say that.
You feel as if the last time you got you even vaguely got anything from her, it was like a breeze of the smell of incense on the wind in that temple garden. But this is different. There is the faint smell of that herbalistic something just at the edge of your perception. But more pressingly, as you sort of reach out with that wellspring of divine magic within you, it is as if there is something the air in the room is heavy, like the way it feels when the storm is coming. But this is not foreboding.
Yeah.
It is heavy above your head, but it feels as if something is looking down at you, waiting, but curious.
Cool, good talk.
There is no verbal response, but there is the feeling like a head tilt.
Alex returns to the head tilt.
There is nothing in front of you. This is all just like you are a very insightful person.
Yeah, no, Alex is like, he isn't like responding to physically, but like the feeling, he is going to like mimic the feeling, which then results in him doing the for real head tilt.
And then there's just the curious grows a little stronger.
Oh, Alex does not know what he's doing.
It's not like a demanding curious.
Yeah.
It's the kind of curious, like
The two cats sniffing at each other
the
on
two
either
cats
side.
sniffing
Yes.
from the other side of the room, or like the small child that has just discovered a new bug and is like crouched looking down at it, waiting to see what it'll do.
What is that spell and why do I have it prepared? Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
Cleric mood.
Sorry. Sorry, Alex doesn't know what to do and I don't know what I'm doing. I guess they will sniff on either side of the door for a little bit.
Love that.
There is this couple of minutes where you feel this curiosity. And then there is sort of the equivalent of the little hint of toe beans under the door.
Yes.
I love this. I love it.
The little hint of the toe beans under the door as you kind of get the sense of like, yes, I am here. You have asked for me.
Hi, okay. See, here's the thing. I didn't know what I was asking for. 2, I don't know what I'm doing. I've kind of gotten this far somehow. And I don't know how. So I just keep being surprised you're there, I guess.
There's another feeling of the head tilt. The toe beans retracted,
Oh no.
but still very like sniffing under the door.
Okay, I don't mean that in a don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a self-deprecating way. That's not a slight. I'm just me, you know.
Toe beans don't return. However, this is a great metaphor.
I love it.
It's a very good
I love this metaphor.
It's so good.
But there is a feeling as if the cat on the other side of the door is pacing a little. Not in a bad way, but in a I am thinking, I am considering, I am processing the smell sort of thing.
Yeah. Alex is just like, you know when cats loaf, but it's clearly a very nervous loaf.
Yep.
That's what Alex has been doing the whole time. Pupils blown, staring underneath the door.
Limbs gone.
The limbs are gone, but underneath, like, ready to just go if things start going south. Which is not meant as a like
a
slight
bad thing. But
yeah, it's not meant as a bad thing. That is unfortunately just how he is as a person.
The energy you're getting, there's no offense. There's nothing rebukive of it. It is just as if she is pulling back to think a second.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a feeling. There's a feeling almost like a pressure on your shoulders. Nothing crushing, but like a solid pressure. Like somebody stronger than you has laid their hands on your shoulders. Nope, not pressing, it's just the weight.
Okay.
And then you feel another pressure sort of tilt your chin up a little.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And then another one push your back forward like something is fixing your posture.
Yeah. Alex is now a little uncomfortable, but it is better for his back, probably.
And then there's the feeling of good.
Cool. Okay. Alex will just. Well, now his posture's good. He can chill here for a little bit.
But his posture is good, but there's also something like not quite prideful, but a bit more. You know, like when you change your posture, you sometimes like change your entire like attitude.
Yeah.
It's that, but the sort of feeling of like confidence.
Okay.
Like the way you feel a little more confident when you wear a pair of dress shoes that make you feel like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm fucking
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah. He's doing it.
And then those pressures pull back. And again, and there is that like good. And then the sensation of waiting again.
Feels better though. Doesn't feel as bad. Okay. Alex will chill, not like no longer reaching. He's just gonna kind of chill there for a little bit. Just
You sort of stop reaching. It is almost as if you were backing away from the door. And you
yeah.
sense the other cat has also sort of mimicked this and stepping back. And you can feel the pressure in the light with every breath that you take until it feels normal and the door slides shut again.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Alex. He did it.
He did it!
He did.
Did it.
Nagi, you run the water. You create water and you sort of lay down in it. And you let out a breath. What are you processing? You can put that in a DM or you can say out loud.
Yeah. So first of all, she's processing the fact that she died and really hasn't had a chance to like think about it or talk about it with anyone. And then like also like she's processing the fact that she died and then the DCP leveraged that against her to essentially have them work for her. And literally all she was trying to do is find her mom.
Yeah.
And she's feeling very alone right now. That's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last message from Ayase. Yeah, she doesn't know what that means. She doesn't know if she's hurt, in danger. And she just doesn't want to talk to Nagi if like
So
she's
this
in
is
a
why
place where
I had you roll an intelligence roll. So I can't narrate anything about Nagi's relationship to her own death. I'm not gonna like DM insert feelings here or anything. That is all for you and for RP and all of that. But as your mind starts to drift to Ayase's last message, you start to turn it over in your head and remember what Granny said about it being quiet and monotone. Your mother is not a quiet or monotone person. I am, this is a fact.
yeah.
No, nobody could raise someone like Nagi and be a quiet and monotone person. And obviously you didn't hear it for yourself. The other thing you know about your mom is that as far as you can remember, for as long as you've been with her, she has always had time for you. It might be, not now, sweetie, mommy is fighting a giant spider. I can talk to you in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But she has always had time for you. She always makes time for you. She had some failings as a mother, because nobody is perfect. But that's one of the things you know. And the idea that she would say no to talking to you right now, you get the feeling that it is less maybe that she doesn't want to, and maybe that she can't.
Yeah.
That there is something stopping her ability to speak.
Yeah, no, that's
You
one of
start
them.
to
Sorry,
hmm?
no, go ahead.
You start to think a bit. The trail for your mother went here, to Horitari, to Wald. And there's something. There's been a lot going on. A lot of things that have distracted you. But as you try to think about how your mother's arrival in Horitari slots into the timeline, you're not quite sure, but it's bugging you.
Yeah.
And that's what you get for a 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. One of the things she's considering is, that she can't talk to her right now.
Mm-hmm.
that's probably worries her more than I don't want to talk to you.
But it might be a little more emotionally like, my mom isn't abandoning me.
Oh yeah, no, it's just that
Yeah.
she's very worried about Ayase's life
Mm-hmm.
and safety.
But there's something about the timeline of your mother's presence in the city that you're just like,
Yeah.
It wouldn't bug you if it weren't for the fact that she didn't come here for the temple. And so her timeline with the temple is what's
Yeah.
nudging.
And oh, Thadiel had met her, right?
You did you ask Othaniel about it?
No, you had mentioned earlier that she had come and met with Walsh, but Othaniel was mentioned, but I don't know if it was in context of. Yeah, it was from
So
one of
you
the
don't
hints.
know if Othaniel's met your mother.
Okay.
The scrap of paper just said Walsh Othaniel.
Well, that's for another day.
Anything else anybody wants to do?
I have a uncomfortable suspicion, so Nin's just going to take a glass of juice to
Okay.
just knock on the door.
There's a pause for a second, and then like there's this weird pregnant pause. It's not quiet on the other side of the door. You can hear them kind of moving around.
Okay, so they are in there though.
They are in there,
Okay.
but they're not making any move to open the door. And you're starting to think like maybe this is like a just they are ignoring you to make you try to go away. You see your quiet oh before they open the door.
Hey,
And they kind of when they realize it's you, there's a moment where there's a flicker of like, oh, before their expressions cools.
Of what?
Of like kind of like, oh.
It's not my brother.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Your brother made some juice. You want some? And she just kind of holds up a glass.
They sort of they take it. And as they do, you kind of notice as they shift, their hair has been pulled down from the hastily assembled bun that they had put it in. And it is sort of trailing, like, it's sort of, like, it's not wrapped around one of their arms, but it's kind of held up with one of their arms. And there is a very fine-toothed sort of, like, hairbrush on the bed, and the bottom bit of their hair looks a lot better than it did. Probably they have spent most of this time carefully brushing out their hair.
Do you want help? I don't know if that's a weird thing to ask. I'm not really from around here, so I'm sorry if that's rude. It just seems like a lot for one person to do.
They kind of
And you can tell me no.
they look down at like the end little like couple bits of their hair that still aren't like fully like like rebrushed out and taken care of. There's still some what looks like little flecks of like dirt in there. Um, and they're like, oh, oh, sorry. If you're not from around here, I understand. I appreciate the offer, but my hair is my hair, and my body is. They kind of like they're trying to figure out how to explain this to somebody who like might not understand. Um, my body is my gift to Lede, and from Lede, and so it is my responsibility to care for it.
I guess that makes sense.
I do appreciate the offer.
Yeah. Can I ask you something?
Of course.
And you can say you don't want to answer. That's okay. What is Walsh like? As a not as a leader or a teacher or anything, but as a parent.
It's my father.
Yeah.
They kind of well, he does care for me. Sometimes he brings me gifts. Mr. Walsh has high expectations, but they're fair ones. When he is strict, he's only strict because he has to be. And he has taught me many good things.
Out of character. This is very much like a scripted sort of answer, isn't it?
Roll an insight check.
Hold on, I need to reopen Roll20.
Good time. Oh, we lost her again.
No.
No, I was wondering what the pause was for.
Sawa, no.
Sawa? Sad.
Sewa?
Sawa back?
Sewa?
Would you like me to roll for you?
Yeah, that might at this point. Computer is difficult. A -1 to insight.
-1 to
At least a -1. It might be a minus.
-1. That's a natural 2.
Oh.
Or that's a 2. That's a 3 on the dice, 2 total.
I mean,
And you tried.
I tried.
Mm-hmm. You really can't read it. Although I will tell you, considering the whole vibe of the last conversation, it's not that you believe them or that they believe they're being genuine, it's just you can't tell exactly like if it's scripted, if it's a straight up lie, if they believe it, and it's just kind of like, you don't know. I'm not going to say you believe them wholeheartedly because that would be stupid.
Right.
You just don't know what this
They
particular thing is.
don't know how much of it they're buying into, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Honestly, I thought you might try to, like, climb out the window and run away.
Why would I do that?
It just seemed... You're kind of setting an ultimatum.
Well, yes. And then they kind of get a little confused.
I don't know. It's kind of what I would have done, so maybe I'm just still learning how other people do things.
Would other people run away?
Well, I might, but I don't know if you should really do what I do. I kind of tend to get myself into trouble.
Well, it's safest to be with the strong people, and, well, you all are strong people.
They are pretty strong.
So are you. I didn't recognize some of the spells that you cast, but they were very good ones.
They're just a gift. That's all.
You get magic, sorry. Yours come in blessings too?
No, not a blessing, like a literal gift. They're from my mom.
Are you... Are you a demigod? Sorry. Sorry, I shouldn't have asked. Sorry.
I don't think so. She's not my birth mom, but she raised me, so she's my mom. And when I left home, she wanted to be sure I could protect myself. So she gave me some gifts to take care of myself with.
They nod like they understand. Mr. Walsh didn't give me any of my magic, but he did give me my weapon and the armor. He was very proud of me when Naoki told him we were starting training. Sorry.
It's okay. Do you like training? I mean, more not as an obligation, but just as something you do.
It's been very fun with Naoki. He's made it very fun.
Well, maybe when all this is over, you can spend more time doing that.
He nod.
I don't really know what I expected. Like I said, I kind of thought you might have tried to run away. But I think you're probably a better person than I am, so I'm glad you didn't.
Even with your passive insight the way it is, there's this sort of like, you can't tell what sort of flashes across their face, but there is something before they shut it back down.
I just wanted to say I know it's complicated, but he does care about you a lot.
They
I
nod.
want to keep you safe.
They
Julius.
nod. Hmm?
Julius, I mean.
Oh, I thought you meant Mr. Welsh.
She just gets very quiet.
They look at you.
I should let you sleep.
They look like they want to ask you something. But they don't.
If they don't, she'll just kind of give them a nod and let them close the door if they'd like.
They don't. They seem a little bit kind of confused when you don't.
Well, I guess I'll leave you to it. She'll just kind of back away awkwardly from the door.
Yeah, they kind of are like standing in the door awkwardly. Like looking between you and the open door.
Do you want me to close it? I can close it. I just thought you'd like to make that choice.
Is it supposed to be open or closed?
You can do
Sorry,
whatever you like.
They kind of nod.
So many rules here. It can be scary to not know, to not have that structure, but it's not a bad thing.
They look like they're trying to formulate something in their mind. Like they're looking for phrasing.
I mean, if you're not sure, maybe just, leave it open a crack.
They their hands kind of clench like they can't figure out how they want to say what they want to say.
Good night, Nathaniel.
Good night.
And she'll leave.
As you leave, you don't hear the door slide shut behind you. I think that's where we're going to end session.
Yay. Oh, I'm glad I didn't fuck that up too bad.
You rolled well when it mattered.
I thought I was gonna die.
I just want this child to be happy.
Same. If they have to hate Julius to be happy, so be it. But I would like them not to. And I'm gonna
We'll get
stop
there.
recording. Yeah.